Hello, everybody. It's Vinyl Rich here with Vinyl Finds, whatever number it happens to be. I don't really remember. Um, I want to make a comment real quick. A lot of people are doing the live videos on YouTube now, and for the most part, I don't really care for them. I think they're a waste of time. They're too long. And I did catch one this past Saturday morning. It was dots and loops, and actually it was done quite well, actually. I mean, he's basically interacting with the camera. He's, doing his thing, and then once in a while he'll look at his phone and comment. As opposed to all the other ones I've seen, it's where people are sitting there and they're constantly looking down and answering questions, and I mean, it's just makes for a boring video. I know me, Mr. Mail, he was making 3 a day when he first started. I think he's kind of backed off of that, and some of his were just horrible. I mean, and it was no fault of me, Mr. Mail. They were just asking him dumb questions. I mean, and I noticed he did get focused on. He made some others where he was a little more focused, and he did some at the record store. But generally speaking, I don't really care for the live ones. Dots and Loops one though I did really like, and I got a comment from Deadwax66 saying that Joel makes really good ones. The problem I have is my schedule is complete opposite of most normal people. I work nights, sleep during the day, and so my schedule's kind of out of whack. I think a lot of times when people are doing these, I'm in bed or I'm getting ready to go to work. The Saturday afternoon one though, I just so happened upon it, and it was pretty good. I didn't stay for the whole duration. I mean, I did stay 20 minutes or so. It was pretty cool, and there were some all-stars, man. He attracted the all-star audience there. Anyways, one person that was watching it when I was Joel. And Joel makes videos. Really cool guy. And he showed this album here. Zelda from Turkey. And the way he described it, I just had to check it out. And I checked a few songs out, and I go, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. It's really psychedelic. Apparently, she was a folk singer, protest singer in the 60s. I believe I'm getting this right. And then this album was recorded in 74, maybe 75. And it's more of a psychedelic feel. There is some folk to it, but it's not a folk album at all. It's a psychedelic album. And I have those Love, Peace, and Poetry comps. I only have one on vinyl, but I have quite a few on CD, and I do have a Turkish one. And I noticed it seemed like there was a big, heavy psych movement going on in Turkey in the 70s, mid-70s. And I think a lot of those musicians are probably on this. Some of the vocals, well, it's not actually her vocals, it's just the phrasing. It does sound kind of Middle Eastern. So, depending on who your neighbors are, you might want to listen to it with the headphones, or, you might be getting a visit from a Homeland Security, But one thing I noticed is she really looks really kind of sad, in these pictures. Really melancholy. Both pictures. She was jailed by the Turkish government. But really cool. It's really cool. Check it out. It's online. I think almost all the songs on this album are online. It's not for everybody, but people that really dig psych, I think, will really like it. Zelda from Turkey. And this is what the labels look like. Pretty cool. You know, one other member I'm going to mention. I'm going to plug 2 people in this video, and I'm going to leave a link to both of them. I mean, good luck finding Joel. It's capital J, O, space, capital L. You type that in and you get J-Lo, you get all these soul singers. So I'm going to leave a link. And I'm also going to leave a link to a chap named Chutney Ferret. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. A guy from England. Really cool. He really cool. Shows some really cool stuff. Has some interesting stories. And a very interesting chap. Now, I know I've recommended people in the past, and they turned out to be wankers, but these 2 guys are really pretty cool channels. On to the show. This next 2 albums I bought at the same time, and this is Captain Beefheart's Lick My Decals Off Baby, the album that came out right after Trout Mask Replica. I prefer this album over Trout Mask Replica. Although I used to own this. I bought this in the early 70s. And probably 71, 2-ish. No, probably that time. And I never have owned a Trout Mask Replica, so I haven't really delved into that one as much. But yeah, I dig this album. It's kind of out there, but it does have some song structure. And what's really cool, it's in the shrink, and it's got the original price receipt here from Jerry's Records, which, you know, I found pretty cool. This is the original sleeve, I am assuming. This was originally on Straight Records. This is a little bit of a later pressing, and it's on Reprise. But it's in great shape, so I'm cool with it. I did used to have that, and it was a victim of my divorce, and I guess my ex-wife got that one. I got another Captain Beefheart. This came out in 1980, I believe. I know he had his where he came back, and I kind of always wrote it off as like, you know, he's going to that well one too many times. And I did buy one of them. I think it's something Crow, I don't know. But this one here is Doc at Radar Station, and it's really good. And I mean, back in the day, I probably avoided this album just because of the way the band looks. It's just like, that is not a look that would have made me want to buy the album back in 1980. I mean, I was listening to X and Black Flag back then. But this is a really good album. And I re-listened to that Crow one I have, and that's pretty cool too, man. So when I see Captain Beefheart albums, I'm going to pick them up. Let's put it that way. And it's on a White Virgin label. I don't think it's a White label promo. But a pretty cool album. This next one is Leon Russell's first solo album. He did make an album before this with Mark Beno or whatever, however you pronounce his name. And he did make in the 70s made another album with that guy, and I have that album. And I also have that one that Carney, and they're both pretty good albums. So I thought, you know, I ran across this really cheap, in great shape. I figured his first album, I'll give it a spin. And it's not the type of music that I would, you know, I'm normally going to listen to or buy. It's kind of a rootsy kind of sound. Really piano-y. I don't know if it's New Orleans style, but it's got some really great songs on here. Delta Lady, that's a good one. Give Peace a Chance, they do a good version of that. Actually, I really like the album. It's, even though it's not, I dig Leon Russell's voice. And I don't know if you guys have seen Mad Dogs and Englishmen. It was a movie that came out Played in the movie theaters in the 70s, very early 70s. Joe Cocker. And Leon Russell was in the band, and he's the leader of the band. I mean, he plays guitar, plays piano, and he's great in that movie. And I've always been a Leon Russell fan, but I've never really delved into his albums. I would like to get his next album. I think it's called Shelter People. But yeah, this is really cool. Really great songwriter, actually. Leon Russell. And this is the sleeves. The sleeve, and it's on Shelter Records. Leon Russell. Now this next band, I have 3 of their albums here. The first one I'm going to show is their best album, I think, and it's War. I know War is not for everybody. I think I remember Dead Wax 66 saying that he's not a fan of War. And I would say check out this album. If you had never heard any of their albums, I know you've heard some of their singles. They were pretty big in the early 70s. This album, though, is really good. It plays really well. There's only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 songs on it. Really, I think 3 songs on each side. A couple of really long jams. But really good album. I think it's their best. I think it came out in 72, if I remember right. This is a band that I saw quite often. They're from the Long Beach area, I believe. That's where I know they recorded. And they used to play Bakersfield quite often. And in fact, the very first concert I ever went to was Eric Burdon and War. You know, the Spill the Wine. But yeah, this is a really good... This album and the one that came out right before that, All Day Music, I think are their 2 best albums. But I think this is a really good starting point. If you don't like this, you're probably not going to like War. And it's on United Artists. Now this next one, it came out in 73. It's the next album, and it's War, Deliver the Word. It's not near as good as the last one. The first song is H2 Overture, and it's not bad, but it's really... It's not as spontaneous as their earlier stuff. In Your Eyes, the second song, I actually don't like that one. Gypsy Man is a pretty good song. But the first great song on the album is the first song on side 2. And it's Me and Baby Brother, which is a song that is on the album. It's a live version, though. It's on the album that came out right before this, All Day Music. So it's an older song. So it's kind of... For me, it's kind of telling that my favorite song on here is actually an older song. But it's not a bad album. And it has this die cut thing, and you can see this guy walking on the beach, all alone in the blazing sun. He's still walking all alone in the moonlight, poor bastard. We've all been there. And again, I don't know why I do this, but it's on United Artists. And the next album here is the one that came out. These 3 albums came out in a row. This one came out in 75. And it's maybe their biggest seller. I don't know. War, Why Can't We Be Friends? In the Shrink. I think all of these are in the Shrink, yeah. Well, the first one wasn't. Anyway, sorry. It is a punch out. It's got this ugly hole in here. It's a pretty good album. I like side 2 probably better. And it's got Lowrider on it, which was the big hit. And it's got Why Can't We Be Friends? I was never really a fan of that song. In fact, back in the day, I stopped buying their albums after The World Is a Ghetto. But yeah, this is a pretty good album. I think it's better than the one that I just showed. And I even like Why Can't We Be Friends now. It's kind of a mellowy song, but it's not as good as War. I mean, The World Is a Ghetto. And I believe this album, I mentioned the Long Beach. I believe this album was recorded in Long Beach. I believe this is the one. And they pretty much left the studio doors open while they recorded this album, and anybody could venture into the studio and check them out. And really cool guys these dudes are, or were. The War still tours, but I think it's mostly Mexican dudes now, and as you can see, it's all black guys and one white dude then. I think there might be 2 original members in the band that tours now. But yeah, it's on United Artists. And this one does have a poster, and I'll show it just for Headley. I know he really liked that Morrissey poster. But yeah, this is Why Can't We Be Friends? Pretty cool poster. I'll hang that up in my restroom right next to that Morrissey poster. Now, these next ones here, I bought all at it's called Loud Punk Records. They have a website, and Get It On. I've plugged this guy's channel, Get It On, before, but I guess the full name of the channel is Get It On with Jason Hook. So I'll leave a link to his channel too. Get It On with Jason Hook. He shows mostly all punk, so if you're not into that, you might not like him. But he's a cool guy, so I think you will anyways. Anyways, I got one 12-inch, and this is on that Radio Raheem label that I've spoken about, and I heard about from Jason. And this is an New Zealand, kind of a oi band, I believe in the late 70s, early 80s. And this is a repress of their 12-inch single, No Tag. No Tag, oi, oi, oi. No Tag is the name of the band too. And they have that song's on YouTube, and it's really cool. Mistaken Identity is cool. All 3 songs. It's 1 song on one side, 2 songs on the other. Really cool 80s oi. And this is what the label looks like. And No Tag. Really cool band. And I did pick up some 7-inches there. Let me get those. The first 2 are from a band from Finland. And I believe it's Radis. I don't know how you pronounce it in Finnish, but that's how us Yanks pronounce it. And it's Radis on... I don't know. You know me, I'm a dumbass. This was recorded in 81. I think both of these singles were recorded in 81. And I believe this one came out before the other one. This is on Honey Records, I guess. Really cool. 80s punk rock, or late 70s. Like I said, I think this one was recorded before, just by the way it sounds. And that's what the labels look like. Honey Records. I don't know if you can be able to read that. I haven't really tried with my phone showing stuff real close, doing close-ups, but we'll see. And this is the second one I got. It's this EP, and again, it was recorded in 81. I believe it was released in 82. Another reissue on Honey Records. And they got the words in English, but they don't always sing in English. Really cool stuff. This one's a little more harder, I guess you would say. And this is what that label looks like. Now this next one, I was a bit disappointed with it. I haven't played it. In fact, I'm not even taking it out of the plastic cover sleeve. It's a flexi disc. I didn't realize that when I bought it. It did clearly state it, but I think it's a band from Japan. That's what it looks like. 2 females, 2 dudes, and it does have a download code, so I'll check it out. Now this next one here is probably my favorite of all these bands that I got from Loud Punk Records, and this is a Boston band, Who Killed Spiky Jacket, and this is on Pogo 77 Records, which looks like it's a Japanese label. And this is really cool stuff. I mean, Who Killed Spiky Jacket? You can see the tongue-in-cheek humor there. And it's Sleepy Time Punks. The songs are called Sleepy Time Punks, Murder, Spiky Drinking Power, and What's Your Excuse? And there you got some pictures of some sleeping punks. Great band. The singer is fantastic. You even hear a little bit of Keith Morris in its tone at times, especially on this 7-inch. Not so much the other one, the next one I'm going to show, but great voice this dude has. Now I did watch some live clips of them on YouTube, and I must say they are a rambunctious bunch there. I mean, their crowds go crazy. And you can't really hear the vocals too well. And this is what the label looks like. Both sides, pretty much the same thing. But yeah, there's one concert, I don't know where it's at. People in the audience are shooting off bottle rockets inside this club, and it's just crazy. Stuff's flying all over. The band's throwing stuff. The audience is... I mean, it's just crazy. Then there was another clip... I think it was Space 42 recorded in LA or Long Beach. Maybe it was Long Beach. And that was another crazy gig. And I mean, you can't even see the band most of the time. There's people everywhere on the stage, and just I think it would be a pretty cool gig to go check out. And this is the second 7-inch by them, Who Killed Spiky Jacket. And this is Bear Storm Trooper EP, another great EP. And it has 4 songs: Who Gives a Shit, Beer Not Jobs, Spike Your Hair with Beer, and Beer Storm Trooper. And this one is on Head Count Records from Richmond, Virginia. Now, this song here, Spike Your Hair with Beer, I don't know how well that'll work. But I know back in the day, my buddy Scott, he used to spike his hair with Jello. You know, it's basically sugar water, you know. And, I mean, now you probably got instant spike, you know, you just spray it. But back in them days, you didn't. And that's what he used to use, I remember. I never went for that shit. But, yeah, this pretty cool labels on this one. Yeah, I never had a mohawk or nothing like that, you know. I mean, if you have a mohawk, you can't pick your nose in public, because if you have a mohawk, there's always people staring at you, you know. This next one here is Rotten, Waiting for the Bomb. On here, on the sleeve, this is a reissue, I believe. This is actually on Loud 46, so this is actually on Loud Punk Records, licensed from Hell Headbangers, and it says Rotten here, and on the actual 45 it says Rotten UK. So apparently they're a UK band. I believe there's another band, Rotten, from Canada, so they had to add the UK over here. And Loud Punk Records, and you got little Mickey there. And this one is on colored vinyl. Glow in the dark, actually. Woohoo! And let's see, it came with this little insert. Picture of the band. And the TV with That's All Folks, and the words to Waiting for the Bomb, or whatever that song is. The last one here is another one that's on Loud Punk Records, and it's Cinder Block, and it's the Executioner EP, and this is the back. That's a picture of the band, and it's the Executioner, Cry Wolf, Tombstone, No Means No. I think the only song on here that's on YouTube is No Means No. Pretty cool. I mean, I dig it. I don't dig it as much as the Spiky... Who Killed the Spiky Jacket? Again, it's on Loud Punk Records. And this one was on gray vinyl. Little bit of dark in there. And little bit of a insert picture of all the members of the band and the words. And there was a little bit of a miscommunication on my part, and I ended up getting another copy of this one. Everything's the same, except this one is on black vinyl. Loud Punk Records. So I'm going to leave 3 links on this video. Check all 3 guys out. And take care, guys and gals.